All I gotta ask is the mayor of New York City on some type of heavy drugs or something? First and foremost, I want to thank all my subscribers, all the people who's been just checking me out, watching what I gotta say. You know, I only speak from my heart, and it's only my opinion. And I really, really appreciate that first and foremost. For people who just subscribe and spend a little time just listening to what I gotta say, man. You know, I love my country. You know, I don't understand why a lot of people don't. I really love America. I mean, we're not perfect. I don't think nothing here is supposed to be perfect, but you know, we're working on it. And I want to thank everybody who subscribe and share this and just take a little time out to listen to what I'm saying. The mayor of New York City, Bill de Blasio, you know, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard about this already. If you haven't, I just want to kind of update you on what's going on. So he made a statement out of his own mouth, and I'm paraphrasing. He doesn't want any type of social gathering. It's like parades, all the normal stuff, all the, you know, normal stuff that goes on in New York City. He wants no part of that, right? Okay. Only the protesters have a right to do this, out of his own mouth. And I'm thinking to myself, how hypocritical can you be? You know what I mean? How hypocritical can you be to say that you don't want any gathering in your city as mayor, but protesters and people out here rioting and tearing up stuff? If you haven't heard, and I'm sure you have, one of the latest, and I'm not sure if this is the latest, but one of the latest stories is that a man was walking across the street in New York City with his daughter, and a guy in broad daylight pulled up beside him, a car pulled up beside him, and shot him in broad daylight. Broad daylight in front of his daughter. His daughter took off running, right? No police to be found. Why? Because there's no police around to do anything, because he took all the rights and privileges from the police department out there. He defunded the police, I believe, like $2 billion or something like that. It's just crazy, right? Why would someone even think that that's a right thing to even say on national television, for one thing? Basically, what you're saying is this, or what you're doing is this. Mostly, the crime in any city, especially in New York City, or any city across the United States, are located mainly in the inner cities. What you're doing when you defund, or when you're taking away privileges from the police, you're taking away the protection from mostly Black and Hispanic Americans in that city. So what you're doing, you're putting innocent people's life at harm by not giving them the privilege or giving them the opportunity to have a police come to protect them, right? It's just common sense. That's why I started off to say that, is this guy on some type of heavy drugs or something? Anybody in their right mind, I don't understand, would say this don't even make sense. To even say that. If you think that, that's fine, but for you to say that, that's crazy. Here's another thing. Since last year, I believe crime has went up like 240%. At this same time since last year, 240% crime has risen in New York City. Why? There's no police. Police are walking off the job. Do you blame them? They don't even have support from the governor or the mayor inside these cities. And people want to ask me, why did I become a Republican or a conservative? If you haven't done this already, do yourself a favor. Look up the bio on Republican, conservative, and also look up the bio on liberal and Democrat. And that'll give you a plain reason why I'm not a Democrat anymore, like I was for the last, 38 years or so, and you know? And I want to read a little something, you know, from the Bible, since I'm a Christian, okay? It has something to do with these times right here, and it kind of go like this. This is 2 Timothy 3, and I'm just going to read a few verses, okay? 2 Timothy 3, 1 through 5, starting with 1. This is what the word says, and this is the amplified version, which means it's more of an English, modern day English version, easier to understand for those who don't know. But understands this. This is that in the last days will come perilous times of great stress and trouble. For people will be lovers of self and self-centered, lovers of money and aroused by an inordinate desire for wealth, proud and arrogant, boastery, actually just boasters, right? They will be abusive, disobedient to parents, ungrateful, unholy, and profane. That's verse 1 and 2. Verse 3. Without natural affection, relentless, of no appeasement, they will be slanderers, false accusers, troublemakers, intemperate, and loose in the moral and conduct, uncontrollable, fierce haters of good. That's verse 3. Verse 4. They will be treacherous, betrayers of rash, inflated with self-conceit. They will be lovers of sensual pleasures and vain amusements, more and rather than lovers of God. For they, and that's verse 4. This is verse 5. For they hold a form of true religion. They deny and reject and are strangers to the power of it. So really what this is saying, basically, if you guys couldn't hardly follow on at verse 5, it kind of explains kind of what's going on right now in today's. You know, we have a lot of people who are lovers of money and haters of what's good, and you know, act like they're Christians but really not, have a form of Christianity but really ain't. I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada, so, you know, excuse the sweating. I'm kind of hot out here, just to throw that in. But, you know, I just wanted to read that's 2 Timothy 3, 1 through 5, you know, and I kind of chopped that up. I just wanted to give a good idea or a good explanation of what's going on right here in our times right now, man. Not just in New York, but across this country, right? We got to make sure we get Trump back in office. That's pretty much, in my opinion, the dividing line between, some people call it the New World Order, some people call it whatever, but he is the one who's putting a barrier to stop this lawlessness that's about to happen as soon as he's out of office. I mean, of course, God is God, right? But he spoke of these times, right? For any black American out there that don't like Trump, I just want to challenge you on something. Go read the bio on Republican and conservative. And then go and read the bio on Democrat and liberal. And ask yourself, where do you fit in at? Believers of Christ, especially if you call yourself a believer in Christ. Ask yourself, where do you fit in at? And then you'll figure out why I vote or why I make these videos and say what I say about these things, right? Matthew 6:33, go love somebody out here today. We got to make sure we get Trump in there, Trump 2020. Make sure he stays in there, because you see what's going on in our country. People are losing their mind. Look at the mayor in New York City. He made a bold, stupid statement like that on TV, out of his own mouth. I'm not making this up. Go look it up for yourself if you haven't. It's crazy.